Once upon a time, in a beautiful community within a serene environment, lived a man named Taiwo. He was a renowned farmer in the village. Everyone knew him to be very adept at what he did. Often, he would go hunting in the forest and return with impressive kills. This was his means of livelihood. Taiwo was married to Yemisi, a very beautiful woman and an industrious trader. Taiwo and Yemisi, being a newly married couple, were just starting their lives together. A few months into their marriage, Yemisi began feeling unwell and had to be taken to the hospital. It turned out that her illness was not a cause for concern, but rather good news. She was a few months pregnant. Taiwo and Yemisi were overjoyed and looked forward to becoming new parents. Wherever she went, Yemisi would solicit advice and made sure to start buying things needed to welcome their new child. The baby developed well and swiftly. In the ninth month, Yemisi had her new baby, and their joy knew no bounds as they welcomed their new baby boy. He was very beautiful and bore a striking resemblance to Taiwo, with people often remarking how much the child looked like his great-grandfather, Hoang. They decided to give him the great-grandfather's name so his legacy would continue. After the emotionally charged day and amidst the baby's cries, they went to bed. Upon waking the next day, she couldn't find their baby in the crib. Instead, she saw a toddler crawling about. Yemisi wondered who this child was and kept looking for hers. She thought her husband must have taken him to be presented in front of the gods, but expected he would at least be back soon so she could feed her baby, as her breast had engorged and filled with milk. Yemisi felt the toddler in her home was very familiar as she picked him up and noticed he had the same features as their child, including a tribal slash on his face. Taiwo came home and asked about his son. Yemisi replied, saying she thought he had taken him to be presented to the deity. I woke up and did not find you and the baby, but this toddler here. I had to feed the child as he was yearning for food, and I don't know who left him here. Taiwo picked up the child and upon looking at him, recognized it was indeed their baby, already grown. He exclaimed in astonishment, "Ah, this is Hoang." She asked him what he meant, and he urged her to hurry and get dressed. They need to visit the oracle immediately. Without wasting much time, she did as instructed, and they both left with the child to visit the oracle. They arrived and narrated their ordeal to the chief priest. He picked up the child and upon examining him, presented him to the gods. He told them that this was indeed their child, that he would become a full-grown adult before the next week ended. This child is your late great-grandfather, whose life was cut short. He has come back to complete his mission here on earth, as he has unfinished business. You have a lot to face ahead of you. Chills ran down the spine of Taiwo and Yemisi, because this was the last thing they were expecting to hear from the high chief priest. And the chief priest warned them not to inform anyone about this and to keep it a secret between them, advising them to go home and watch how things would begin to unfold. Yemisi and Taiwo wondered how they could hide such a secret because everyone knew they had just had a baby. How could they conceal this? Or should they say their baby was late? They wept and questioned why they had to be inflicted with such pain. Looking at the child, they decided to follow the chief priest's instructions and kept this to themselves. The next day, their baby was already a little child of about 2 years old, talking and sounding mature. As he kept asking about his farmlands, which ones were sold and which remained, he told them about his childhood in his past life, which left them slightly scared. People were still coming to see the baby, but they made excuses like, "Oh, we just put him to bed. He doesn't like noise." Everyone said they understood and would try to visit later, hopefully with better luck. However, whispers had already started circulating as no one had seen their baby and wondered if truly they had a child or whether something awful had happened to him. Yet, no one could get to the bottom of the issue. Days passed and the child kept growing, becoming more astute and expressing a desire to go out. However, they did not want him to, so as not to draw attention to themselves before people realized what was happening. One day, Hoang woke up as a teenager. These transformations were already making the couple scared, and they wondered how long they could cope. A nosy neighbor, Abimbola, came around while Yemisi was in the backyard, spreading her already washed clothing. She inquired about the baby, following Yemisi into her home, stating she hadn't heard the cry of a baby after the day he was born, and asking if the child was okay. Yemisi responded, affirming her son was fine. In that moment, Hoang came out and said, "Mom, I'm hungry." Abimbola, taken aback, remarked, "I didn't know you had a grown child." Yemisi quickly said it was her nephew, but Abimbola, unsatisfied with her response, pressed further, suggesting that Yemisi might not be telling the whole truth. Abimbola then said that this child looked so much like her husband Taiwo, that is there something she doesn't know, that she can confide in her, that no one will know. Yemisi said no, that there is nothing wrong. Abimbola asked, "You're sure your sister did not have a child with your husband long ago and has come to return the child back?" Yemisi, irritated, told her neighbor that she was busy and needed to return to her chores, promptly closing the door behind her. Her neighbor left, muttering words under her breath. When Taiwo returned home from work, Yemisi relayed the day's events to him, prompting laughter and a comment about Abimbola's penchant for concocting wild theories. He advised Yemisi to be more cautious in the future. Hoang continued to grow until he reached his full height as an adult. 10 days after his birth, he took on his full appearance and features of the man he used to be. He then bade his parents farewell, stating he would return when his mission was complete to explain everything. Hoang, looking at his grandson, said, "You have grown to be a big man. I am proud of you." Hugged both Taiwo and Yemisi and left. Taiwo and Yemisi hugged each other as they cried, now understanding that the joy they once had in expecting a new child was gone, as they were now childless. The couple struggled through their days, wondering how they would cope, while people kept inquiring about their baby, leaving them running out of excuses to offer. A week later, they received a summons from the chief of their community. Reports had reached him that no one had seen their baby since the day after he was born, and they were summoned to clear their names to ensure they had not used their child for ritual purposes. They received the news with panic and wondered what they would do. They couldn't divulge what the chief priest of the oracle had told them, so they began to think of what to say and decided on their course of action. The next day, they stood before the people of their land, and when they asked about their baby, they said he was gone. The assembly asked in unison, "Gone? Gone where?" But they remained silent. The chief of their land declared that this matter had to be presented before their king, and so the matter was escalated. The king, upon hearing their story, asked them the same question, and they provided the same reply. Abimbola, their neighbor, standing in the crowd, accused them. "I knew it. I knew you had used your baby for rituals. You think you can deceive us?" The king, taking the matter seriously, ordered them to be locked up and gave them 3 days to confess, or else they will be executed. The crowd cheered, agreeing with the decision, and Taiwo and Yemisi were taken away. Yemisi wept, questioning what she had done to deserve this. Why Taiwo apologized, regretting that he had brought such pain upon her. She replied, bewildered at how any of this could be his fault, and expressed hope for a miracle, though she feared it might be too late. The third day arrived swiftly, and by noon they were brought out for questioning. This time, the chief priest was present. When asked again about their baby, they reiterated their previous statement that he was gone, just as the king was about to order the execution. The chief priest intervened, ordering a halt and informing the king that what they had said was the truth, and that everything would make sense soon. Reluctant to defy the gods, the king ordered their release. They returned home to find Sheung waiting for them. They embraced him, inquiring where he had been. He explained that his mission was complete and that he had to embark on a journey of no return, finally finding rest. He handed them a rusted bag covered in dirt, indicating it had been hidden for a very long time. Curious, they asked what it contained. Sheung revealed that he had died in his past life protecting this treasure. Upon opening the bag, they discovered numerous precious stones and were astounded. Taiwo asked his grandfather to clarify. Sheung recounted that years ago, filled with joy on the day his wife had given birth to their son, he had gone hunting in the forest. There he stumbled upon something and, prompted by a voice, dug up the spot, finding the treasure. Unsure of its origin, he decided to bury it on his land. Worried yet unable to confide in his wife due to her preoccupation with their newborn, he confided in a friend who inquired about the treasure's location. Feeling uneasy, Sheung lied about the location, and when his friend attempted to follow him home, he turned on Sheung, stabbing him and leaving him to die. Sheung's spirit had been restless, unwilling to let his descendants suffer when he knew of the wealth that could benefit them, leading him to seize the opportunity to return to life through his birth. The revelations left them in shock. Taiwo inquired about the friend's identity, and Sheung disclosed that upon visiting his house, his friend, struck by the sight of him, died of a heart attack. Sheung bid them farewell, cautioning them to keep the treasure secret and to be wary of whom they trusted. With heavy hearts, they watched him leave, then went to secure their newfound wealth. From that point on, they lived a life of luxury, though rumors persisted about their sudden fortune and whether they had indeed used their baby for ritualistic purposes. Yemisi later became pregnant again and gave birth to a beautiful son who stayed with them, growing normally. They lived happily, though the mystery of what happened to their first child, Sheung, remained unsolved among the villagers. The lessons to be learned from these stories are: not every piece of good news should be shared with everyone, as not all rejoice in your success. Silence can save you from many troubles. Additionally, it teaches the importance of cautious trust, reminding us that not everyone has our best interest at heart.